Hi everybody, this is a Grixis Mindsplice Apparatus deck that wants to use all the different X spells we've got in Standard and also lean on Micromancer for some weird synergies with all of our technically one-costed spells. For one thing, I can't believe MTG Arena actually let me design this deck. Is it good? No. Is it totally sweet? Absolutely. So in our opening hand, we want to look for Mindsplice Apparatus, or at least a way to find it in Maestros Charm and Impulse. Some way to kind of dig a little bit at the beginning of the game and slap this down on the table as early as turn 4. Mindsplice really enables the rest of the deck. As you can see, we've got all these like loony X spells right over here, and they're okay in the first couple of turns of the game, but when we can start putting counters on Mindsplice Apparatus, that's when things get a little out of control. To support all of this spell casting, we're also running one-cost spells that work well with Micromancer. Micromancer goes to find a one-cost instant or sorcery, so that counts all of our X spells that we've got in here. But there are a few utility spells that I wanted to tuck in there, and so I put these in after a few games with this deck. We've got an Offer You Can't Refuse. I really needed just a 1-mana negate that I could go and tutor for when Syncopate might not be as useful in the late game against opponents who just have a lot of extra mana. So even though we might have 5 or 6 counters on Mindsplice, they can still get a removal spell through. So this is in there just as a kind of safety measure for us. And, you know, I've never used that in Standard before. Looks like fun. Got one copy of Rona's Vortex, which is a super flexible removal spell that I also wanted to be able to tutor for. Dread Fugue to get us past some counterspell heavy control decks, and then Gleeful Demolition, because one thing this deck is lacking is artifact destruction. And so when we get into situations where we're facing off against a Phyrexian portal that's just going off turn after turn, or just, you know, some opposing artifacts that we want to get rid of, it's nice to be able to tutor for exactly the answer that you need. Now, one other synergy I kind of like about this deck, we're only running one copy of Black Sun's Twilight. This could probably go up to 2 if we wanted to, but in our deck, what this means is we're going to be able to hit opposing creatures and remove them, and then get back a Micromancer, most often, and kind of replace that spell in our hand, go looking for the right situational thing that's going to win us the game. Or we can pull back Kairi, the Swirling Sky, if we can get X up high enough. Kairi's a great top-end threat for this deck because it lets us reuse all of our instants and sorceries that we've been using in the first turns of the game and bring back the appropriate thing for the job. Rounding out this list, we've got Jaya, Fiery Negotiator. Jaya plays very well with spells by making all of these Prowess Monk tokens. And we've got 3 copies of Syncopate to help us make it through the early game. Black Sun's Twilight, we got 2 March of Wretched Sorrow to handle some early creatures and gain us a load of life if we can get some counters on our apparatus. Light Up the Night is a lovely finisher that we can actually tutor for. We get a lot of chip damage in with this deck by casting reduced copies of Burn Down the House, making monks with Jaya, and we can hit our opponent too with Maestros Charm and Micromancer, so we can get them down a little bit low. We're not very threatening at first, but when we can pull this out of our deck whenever we want to and dome an opponent for 7 or 8, that's a great way to get somebody out of the game. So love having a burn spell I can throw at our opponent in here. March of Reckless Joy can help us dig through the top of our deck in desperation if we're looking for something. And then 3 Mishra's Command. I actually kind of like this in here. We can give the +X+O ability to some of our devils or some of our lowly creatures. We can do damage to creatures or planeswalkers, and then it acts as kind of the second mode of Fable in that we can do a discard and draw and help us filter through some of the extra lands we might not be needing so much if we've already got Mindsplice Apparatus in play. So, is this deck good? No. Is it fun? Absolutely. It is totally sweet. I love playing with Mindsplice Apparatus and being able to tutor for cards I should really not be playing in Standard with Micromancer. So, I hope you enjoy these games with me. I'm going to stick with you for some commentary, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. All right, let's get into it here. Looking to cast some X spells in Standard with old Mindsplice Apparatus here. Or should I say new Mindsplice Apparatus. Really excited to try out Micromancer in here too. Alright, opponent on the early discard plan. Could be a Kaido list of some kind, but let's see what we can get rid of here. I think Micromancer makes the most sense. On turn 4, we know we're going to be doing Mindsplice, and so Micromancer is going to be useful if we draw another copy later in the game to get what we need at the time, but I'm happy to keep our 2 X spells as some intermittent removal if we need it. Ambusher. Ooh, the fancy Ambusher, too. All right. We pick up a Light Up the Night. And command, let's see, we can do a little damage and do a little draw and discard. And so we target us, 2 damage to that creature. It's not quite Fable, but it'll do. We can afford to discard Light Up the Night. We do run Planeswalkers in here, so we can flash that back a little bit later. Another Virus Beetle. Well, I'm going to ditch this land. We just needed to get to 4. And let's cast this now. I want to dodge a Make Disappear from our opponent. Opponent will attack for 1. Another Ninja. Silver Fur Master. Amateur was the last one. Okay, so we've got command. It's slightly discounted. Let's do the same deal. 2 damage, 2 cards, but we will just pitch 1. Of course, we draw another land. We could hold it and try to discard that later. I think that's better than keeping up a Maestros Charm. Yep, and we can discard it to this Virus Beetle that they've been holding. Great little cycle of ninja cards and discard enablers with that. Mindsplice Apparatus going to grow. Let's keep up this impulse. The beetle not too threatening on its own. All right, who's next on the ninja? Oh, nobody. Okay. Just a second Virus Beetle. Well, I think that's fine. Let's get rid of this Maestro's Charm. Impulse at the end of turn. Don't need a second Apparatus. Burn down the house and Micromancer. Both probably the best options. Ooh, I love seeing a discount on Burn Down the House. Look at that. Think if we do this on Devils, that's better than just straight up wiping the board. We can afford to get in with 1. I probably could have gone in with 2 as well, but you never know if they've got a Fading Hope hiding over there with all these repeatable enters the battlefield effects. They can take advantage of casting their beetle one more time. Morbid Opportunist is here. Opponent looking to draw with that. Let's just let it through. We're still at a comfortable life total looking at what our opponent's got on the board. All right, Mishra's Command. Still not too familiar with this one. All right, gotta refresh my memory. So much text on these cards, I tell you. Opponent with an Ambusher and a Master in the graveyard. We don't... Oh, we do have a Micromancer. That could be good. We can keep our card advantage going here. Let's do Black Sun's Twilight, where X is at least 5. Hit the Opportunist with that, and then get the Micromancer back as a result. That will let us tutor for a lot of stuff. And I think maybe Light Up the Night. And do we want to command here? Let's do +X and some damage. The plan now is to see if we can get in for a bunch of damage and finish off our opponent with Light Up the Night. Maybe if Apparatus grows big enough, we'll be able to hit them with a nice chunk of damage. Opponent gets in for 1. No ninja shenanigans. Opportunist again. Mindsplice grows ever larger, and we pick up a Xander's Lounge. Let's cycle that. We get another March, because March is essentially free on whatever we want to put it on, so we might as well put it to the max. Put it to the max, I guess, as the kids in the 90s would say. Get in for a bunch of damage, and hopefully, if we can dodge a counter, we can just throw this Light Up the Night at our opponent. Well, they must not have it, because they can see it coming. Virus Beetle is going to take our second March. If they're hiding a Spell Snare, I really commend our opponent here. Mindsplice gets bigger. Micromancer. We don't have enough mana to cast Micromancer for some counterspell protection, so let's get in here. All right, they Fading Hope it. Down to 5, but that is plenty for Light Up the Night to take care of, and I think we got there. Good game. Okay, another one here. Opponent goes first. We've got 3 lands. We got Jaya to help out this time, and we have a number of 1x spells. Oh, there's another one. It's hard to believe this is working. Opponent on at least blue and black over there. Thrumming Bird. Thrumming Bird, deceptively powerful. But they have nothing on board yet. They could play a Kaido next turn. Let's go ahead and get rid of this Thrumming Bird right now. Because if they go ahead and go right into three mana Kaido, oh, looks like they don't have that. Or could just be a change of plans since we removed the bird. 1 mana away from this apparatus. I think we're going to Mishra's Command here. Take out the Tenacious Underdog for the moment, and then cycle away some of these cards. Let's get rid of Light Up the Night. It's kind of a finisher when we've got so much removal. And Black Sun's Twilight. We've got a board wipe and burn down the house. We've got Jaya to go get more cards. I think that's the safest option. Opponent with a second Underdog, and we pick up a second burn down the house. Well, let's go ahead and get this down now. I know it's got flash, but our opponent is nearly tapped out, and I don't want to run headfirst into a counterspell. Black and blue, hard time dealing with artifacts over there unless you've got some very niche cards that only foolish people like me play. So getting that down on our turn is okay. 1 counter on the apparatus. Let's go ahead and do a Jaya here. And we will make a monk to try to protect Jaya. Although I bet they have at least a little bit of removal in that hand. Jaya sitting at a comfortable 5. So even if they remove our monk and get in, we can still keep her around. And Sorin the Mirthless is here. Alright, are we going to draw? No, we're going to Vampire. That takes Sorin down to 2. Going to try to get in at Jaya here with the Underdog. We will throw that monk away. Mindsplice Apparatus. Alright, we got a couple of options here. I think what we're going to do is actually make Devils here. And what we're going to do is use Jaya's ability on the Vampire. We're going to, let's see, Sorin only needs 2 Devils. We're going to attack Sorin. Let me read that again, make sure that's correct. Yes, so attacking with 3 creatures, that's going to deal 3 damage to the Vampire. Meaning they can't block the 2 Devils going at Sorin. Alright. So we're essentially trading Jaya for having a board presence with some Devils to pressure any future Planeswalkers, but I think that's okay. We've got a second copy of Jaya. We're just sort of buying a little more time. Oh, Teferi. Well, let's see. Can we take care of that with what we've got on board? We might be able to.
Even observers need to take action.
In case you couldn't tell, I'm kind of a stubborn counterspell user.
Who's that handsome devil?
We're only running a few, so it's not like I'm trying to counter everything our opponent plays. Excellent, excellent. So they've attacked here, and they've already created the token with Teferi. We're going to phase those out. Mindsplice ticks up. Teferi is now totally exposed. So let's get in with enough to take care of Teferi, Temporal Pilgrim.
No setbacks next time.
We will make a monk to help protect Jaya.
Go on. Impress me.
Think it's safe to get Haunted Ridge down. Just trying to think if I need to hold stuff to discard to things like Mishra's Command in the future, but let's create even more devils. Kind of envisioning a scenario where Jaya's ability is going to be able to clear our opponent's board of creatures so that we don't have to use Burn Down the House on damage mode, and then our opponent can blitz back as many underdogs as they want. Now, Kaido here, that makes some unblockable folks, and it's going to allow them to start drawing more cards. Let's see, Light Up the Night. It does damage based on how many counters we take off the Planeswalker when we flash it back. Opponent going to drown in Ichor, the monk token. So they proliferate on the Teferi token. Going to try to hit Jaya with young Teferi and then go face with the underdog. Sure, we'll block the Teferi token. Devil will just go to the face. Mindsplice Apparatus. Well, we've got 5 devil tokens. They're tapped out, so they can't grow Teferi Jr. Let's just minus Jaya. We'll keep back a devil on blocks. Jaya's ability takes care of the token. We'll get in for 4. And we can, let's see, light up the night on this. That way.
You lack sizzle.
Okay, that way we get to keep current Jaya. This may make sense. We'll get to keep current Jaya, and they can't flash back the second underdog that's there and have 2 creatures on board to hit Jaya with. So they had a choice here to play 1 underdog and attack, but they went with new Vraska instead.
The downtrodden rise together.
Opponent doing some thinking. They draw and proliferate. We pick up Kairi, which is nice. Let's take a look with Jaya. We've got a backup copy here. Just a few lands. Let's play that land. Opponent at 10. We could either get in at them or Vraska. I think Vraska. You never know if they're playing with, what's that? Malicious Malfunction. Exile all my devils. And we get a Kairi down, which is hard to deal with too, and gets us our cards back to use again. All right. It's too much. Good game. All right. We are up against McFlannels. We've got Kairi in our opening hand, 1 of our X spells, and a couple of ways to go digging for Mindsplice Apparatus. We get some blue mana going here. Pass it back to the opponent, who is also in Grixis, and they're going to play an early Fable. Let's go ahead and go looking with Maestros Charm. Oh, no. I was going to say this is a perfect window to try to cast Apparatus. But Burn Down the House is okay, too. We'll take that. Mishra's Command. All right. Opponent going to discard to draw with Fable. We've got a ability to impulse here and maybe start looking for Apparatus. Okay. Micromancer or burn down the house? I think it's burn down the house for now. If they've got one Shieldred, they usually have two. And this will clean up that board nicely this turn and take care of the flipped Fable when that comes down later on. Alright, goodbye Shieldred and associated token. Their Fable will flip over. Opponent to 6 mana now. Gonna go with the Corpse Appraiser. Alright, so this is a pretty standard Grixis list. You often see Corpse Appraiser, Blood Tithe Harvester, all these cards that come with a little something extra. Bankbuster in there too. Alright, yeah, might as well second Fable if you can. There's Mindsplice for us. Question is, can we afford to take a hit, or do we need to clear this board? Or should we just play our dragon? I think the choice is clear. It's dragon time. There's a Shieldred. Okay, this could work out. Kairi at the perfect toughness to maybe survive our burn down the house. Opponent thinking about getting in. Gets in with both the tokens, so they pick up some free treasures. Well, makes sense to just block here. Kairi has ward, so he is safe from any kind of follow-up. They might have a make disappear for our... Oh, no. No, that's not going to work. No. Oh, I'm sorry. Alright, backup dragon. We'll take 2 from Shieldred here. That means opponent's out of mana to counter our burn down the house. Let's get in for 6. And might have to lean on this Mishra's command to deal with the Fable as it flips over here. Fable number 3, you're going to create a Goblin Shaman. We pick up a land. Let's see here. Maybe do a little damage and make the dragon bigger. Think the ward will protect it from any instance. Yeah, let's do that. All right, I think that makes sense. Just on 2, just going to try to take care of the flipped Fable. And we will get in for 8 with Kairi. This second command in our hand is going to enable us to go for lethal next turn. Opponent oh, Hellraiser. Okay, so this isn't standard. Or standard. This isn't usual Grixis list. Unless they've started adding Hellraiser in there. Hellraiser, another kind of fun bombardment-esque card to sort of randomly pull stuff out of the grave, like Invoke Despair. Okay, opponent. Kairi gets put into the grave, so we're going to get to pull a few things out. Let's mill 6. Opponent only at 7. If we can find a Light Up the Night, we're really close to being able to just burn them out here. Let's see. Charm, Impulse, burn down the house. They're at 7. If we burn down the house and Maestros Charm, that might give us enough burn, especially if we can flash in this apparatus. All right, so that's basically a 1 mana discount on the burn down the house and the command. Okay, gonna have to count this up here. Burn down the house is 4. That leaves us with 4 mana. Meaning we can Maestro's Charm and do command for 1 on a devil. Plus X plus O, sure. 1 damage to any creature, fine. We'll pick your creature. Good, I structured that the right way. Alright, so we'll get in here. Oh, and that was just enough. How? Okay, that was just enough. Good game. All right. Back for another one here. We've got Shipwreck Marsh starting us off. Syncopate might be able to help protect us from our opponent's early plays, so I think what we're going to do is get Reef down and play out the Lounge next turn. Sit on Syncopate as kind of a little force spike for those of you who remember that card. Opponent with just a tap land. No sleeper or anything like that. I think it's the land here. Another Syncopate. Yeah, let's go Lounge. We can Syncopate anything they try to do. Like Kaido. Perfect. Auto pay. They can't pay the 1, so Kaido gets exiled. No apparatus from us, but it's clear for Jaya, so let's start getting some monks going.
1,000 years and they never learn not get out there and blaze a path.
Opponent with a Voidwing hybrid. Haven't seen the Sultai version of Toxic Poison counter deck just yet. Oh yeah, I guess I should say for video's sake, as we use Jaya's ability on this, between this game and last game, I added in some actual 1 mana cost cards instead of these 1x cards to add in a few extra things to tutor for with Micromancer, so Dread Fugue being one of them. We will go ahead and cast the regular version on our opponent and just see what there were. Oh my goodness. Oh, having 2 of each makes this a difficult choice. I guess we'll take the Rot Priest. See if we can structure it where we can syncopate the other one, but no. Oh, it's perfect. Now they've got double slip out the back to protect it. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. We'll need, what, 3 removal spells to get through that? And we have no apparatus yet, meaning our X spells are a little too expensive to fight that battle. We go to combat, opponent considering things. Think no attacks. And opponent gonna Augury here. Well, in response to that then, we got a window to Black Sun's Twilight on this Rot Priest. Oh my. Alright, we still get a counter from that. Opponent's gonna Augury and take a look. Wow, we dodged a bad situation over there. We are still picking up poison counters, though, so we are not out of this yet. Crystal Grotto, going to take a look at the top of the deck. Voidwing Hybrid comes down, trying to give us some poison counters. As we pick up a land. Mishra's Command could be good in this scenario here. Let's see, we can do damage to the Voidwing. And I think we can buff up one of our monks. Hopefully they don't have any instant removal. Well, I mean, they could phase it out, but they might not see that. They're going to slip out the back their own creature. Okay. All right, well, that's good for us. That buffs up our team a little bit. We might be able to backdoor sneak this one in with prowess triggers and monks.
Get out there and
we still have our Light Up the Night as some like surprise burn finisher. Opponent thinking here. They play Thornwood Falls. So they've got Augury and Slip Out the Back. 2 mystery cards. Necrogen Communion. Creature Toxic 2. When it dies, okay. When it dies, it comes back. Could not have syncopated that. Oh. This tells you how often I play with Toxic. I didn't realize that Toxic was cumulative. All right, we're at 6 mana. We're going in. It's race time. We got to get in there. Let's make another monk. I think we might be able to sneakily prowess them out of the game next turn. We just got to get through this one more turn. We've got Syncopate to help with that.
The experience will do you
But I think we could also Micromancer here. Everything's so cheap, I don't know if I want to hold up all this mana for a Syncopate. I mean, their deck plays, what, 1 and 2 cost cards? All right. Offer you can't refuse, the Vortex. A number of X cards. Could just be another Mishra's Command, maybe. Yeah, I think it's Command. So every spell we cast is going to be a +4 power bonus, essentially, thanks to those monks. And so we could, if we need to, cast Command for where X is 0 just to get the trigger. All right, opponent's going to get in. That takes us to 9. One more poison counter finishes us. We do have a Syncopate up, but they've got nothing. Okay. All right, let's see if we can get in there. Let's see. Jaya is going to do this. So this is our backup plan. If they're hiding Fading Hope or something. All right, they're going to slip it out the back. That's fine. Opponent with 2 mana left. If we light up the Knight on 0 on my creature, then Mishra's Command for the prowess. And this will keep up mana for Syncopate if they've got a way to remove one of our creatures. Probably a real clunky way to do it, but we just got there. Good game.